if your favorite burger-loving goofball was actually a bloodthirsty werewolf. Welcome to a world where Riverdale runs red with blood, and Jughead Jones isn't just hungry, he's cursed. Archie Horror flips the script in this gory reimagining, where best friends become hunters, and late-night snacks turn into full-moon massacres. If you thought Riverdale was weird, you haven't seen anything yet.
Welcome back to Top Secret Inc., where we uncover the hidden files of the comic book world. I'm your host, Thorne Bishop, and today we're taking a bite, literally, out of one of Archie Comics' darkest twists yet. Jughead, The Hunger, Volume 1. Now, if you grew up with a wholesome gang from Riverdale, buckle up. This is not the milkshake and homework kind of Jughead. This series flips the classic teen drama on its head, tossing in werewolves, murder, and some seriously twisted family secrets. So, if you're into horror comics with a familiar face, or just want to see Archie get ripped in half by a childhood friend, stick around. Because this story, it's savage, stylish, and absolutely unhinged. The story kicks off with a bang, or rather, a brutal mauling. A string of gruesome murders rocks Riverdale, and we soon learn there's a creature behind them. Jughead Jones. Turns out our floppy-crowned friend has inherited the lycanthropic curse that runs in his bloodline. Yup, Jughead is a werewolf. Betty Cooper, normally the sweet girl next door, is reimagined here as a badass werewolf hunter, trained by her family to destroy monsters. She's been tracking Jughead for years, and now that he's had his first accidental transformation, the gloves are off. Archie, ever the loyal friend, tries to play peacemaker. But as Jughead's hunger grows stronger and harder to control, his body count rises. He's forced to flee town to protect his friends. And himself. Along the way, he discovers an underground world of others like him. A hidden werewolf society, complete with packs, blood feuds, and shady rules. Meanwhile, Betty hunts him across the country, torn between her mission and the boy she grew up with. Her journey leads to violent confrontations with other werewolves, secrets within her own family, and a devastating truth about what it means to be a hunter. The climax explodes when Betty, Jughead, and Archie all come face to face. A brutal battle leaves scars, literal and emotional, and Jughead is forced to make a chilling choice: continue running or finally embrace the monster within. By the end of Volume 1, Jughead's transformation is complete, both physically and emotionally. He's not just a teen cursed with hunger, he's a predator. And Riverdale will never be the same again.
Before we dive deeper into the mission, let's pull the files on the key players: heroes, villains, rogues, and wildcard operatives. This is the subject profiles. Jughead Jones, the cursed predator. Once the lovable foodie, Jughead is now tormented by a deadly family curse. As a werewolf, he's torn between protecting his friends and surrendering to his monstrous hunger. He's the heart and horror of this story. Betty Cooper, the reluctant slayer. Raised in a secret lineage of werewolf hunters, Betty is trained, lethal, and emotionally torn. She's determined to stop Jughead, even if it means killing the boy she once loved. Archie Andrews, the innocent witness. The loyal friend caught in the crossfire. Archie plays peacekeeper, but his hope for redemption is no match for the brutal world Jughead now inhabits. Reggie Mantle, the savage wildcard. Arrogant and unhinged, Reggie's descent into the werewolf world adds a chaotic jolt to the narrative. His transformation is sudden and unforgettable.
Jughead's evolution from awkward teen to reluctant predator is surprisingly layered. His struggle with self-control, guilt, and destiny makes him feel like a tragic anti-hero instead of a straight-up villain. You want him to be saved, even as he tears through people like snack food. Betty Cooper might be the real star here. Her portrayal as a ruthless, emotionally torn werewolf hunter gives the series its moral core. Her past, her family's secrets, and her personal code all get fleshed out beautifully, and her confrontations with Jughead hit hard. Writer Frank Thierry nails the balance between pulpy horror and teen melodrama. The dialogue is fast, snarky, and appropriately gruesome when it needs to be. He manages to respect the Archie legacy while ripping its guts out, literally. Artist Pat and Tim Kennedy go full horror movie mode. The werewolf designs are savage and primal, and the gore isn't shy. But it's the facial expressions that sell it, especially the moments of fear, rage, and regret. The page layouts are kinetic and sharp, like a slash across the eye.
They told us not to ask questions. They said the files were corrupted, the intel classified, the case closed. But we kept digging. Welcome to Black Box Theories, where the facts don't add up, the coincidences aren't random, and the truth buried under layers of denial. Strap in, agent. You're not supposed to hear this. Theory number 1. Jughead is the prophesied apex. Classification. Plausible Jughead's bloodline may not just be cursed, it might be legendary. His strength, transformations, and resistance to control hint that he's not just a werewolf, he's the werewolf. Theory number 2. Betty's not entirely human either. Classification. Speculative. Betty's superior speed, instincts, and dream sequences could suggest a supernatural edge. Is there more to her lineage than just hunter DNA? Theory number 3. Reggie's transformation was engineered. Classification. Credible. Reggie's rapid shift into full werewolf form felt too fast. Was he experimented on or targeted as a test subject by another werewolf faction? Theory number 4. The Coopers are covering up a bigger monster. Classification. Dark horse. The Cooper family might not just hunt werewolves. They may have created them. Betty's family history could hold darker secrets than she knows. Theory number 5. The hunger is a metaphor for addiction. Classification. Meta-narrative. Jughead's cravings, withdrawal, isolation, and relapses mirror addiction cycles. This could be a metaphor for teen dependency issues wrapped in horror fur.
Riverdale becomes a haunted playground. Familiar diners, classrooms, and alleys are drenched in shadows and blood. It's a clever twist, turning something nostalgic into something terrifying. Tone-wise, it's like Riverdale meets The Howling. Campy but cruel. Funny but full of existential dread. That sweet and sinister combo is the beating heart of this horror remix. At its core, Jughead, the hunger is about identity versus instinct. Jughead's battle isn't just against hunters or other werewolves, it's against himself. That tension drives the horror and the heart. The story also digs into legacy and fate. How much of who we are is inherited? Are we doomed to become what our bloodline dictates? Both Betty and Jughead wrestle with the cost of family traditions, and neither walks away clean.
Some intel doesn't belong in the open. When a story gets too twisted, too dangerous, or just too damn weird, we file it under Red. This is the Red Files, classified content, high-risk statistics, and the kind of secrets you don't unsee once exposed. Proceed with caution, Agent. Red File number 1, Archie Horror Universe. Jughead. The Hunger is part of the same horror line that spawned Afterlife with Archie and Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Shared universe potential? Strong. Red File number 2, Kennedy Broder's artwork. Artists Pat and Tim Kennedy previously worked on classic Archie books. Their shift to horror shows shocking versatility. Those werewolves are feral. Red file number 3. Burger symbolism. Jughead's iconic obsession with burgers is used as a metaphor for bloodlust in this series. That's why he can't ever seem full. Red file number 4. Betty's training. Her hunter background mirrors Van Helsing tropes. But unlike the traditional model, she was trained from childhood, a nod to legacy trauma. Red file number 5. Lycanthropy as genetic curse. The series redefines werewolves not as supernatural, but inherited. It's science fiction horror, not just folklore.
This series is part of the Archie horror imprint, which has gained cult status for reinventing iconic characters through a horror lens, like Afterlife with Archie and Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. In the broader comic book horror genre, Jughead, The Hunger stands out because it uses familiarity as a weapon. You're seeing characters you know, but twisted into violent archetypes. It's a clever blend of nostalgia and nightmare. If you liked Afterlife with Archie, this book is its bloodier cousin. More visceral, less supernatural apocalypse, more primal horror. It also shares vibes with American Werewolf in London, especially with Jughead's lonely road trip of self-discovery and destruction. And honestly, fans of Marvel's Werewolf by Night will feel right at home. It's classic monster storytelling, just with more milkshakes. Critics were pleasantly surprised. The concept could have been gimmicky, but strong writing and killer art made this a standout hit in the horror revival wave. Fan response was even bigger. Horror fans loved the gore, Archie fans loved the twisted callbacks, and newcomers just vibed with the edgy, fast-paced storytelling. It spawned multiple volumes and cemented Jughead. The Hunger as a flagship title in Archie horror.
Welcome to Operation Smokescreen, where the lies unravel and the real story begins. These aren't just plot twists, they're strategic deceptions buried beneath the panels. Hidden motives, double crosses, and narrative ambushes, we expose them all. Classified spoilers ahead, Agent. Let's break the illusion. Smokescreen number 1. The Jones Legacy. Just when you think Jughead's lycanthropy is a freak accident or some supernatural curse, the truth hits like a silver bullet. He's part of a bloodline of werewolves. This isn't a one-time bite gone wrong. The Jones family has a long, cursed history of transforming under the full moon. And that revelation recontextualizes everything you know about Jughead, making his hunger a literal inherited beast and setting him up as the heir to a monstrous legacy. This twist elevates the story from creature feature to generational horror. Smokescreen number 2. Betty Cooper, Werewolf Hunter. The ultimate twist of allegiance. Betty isn't just the concerned friend trying to protect Jughead. She's a trained werewolf hunter born into a secretive Cooper bloodline that has hunted Jughead's kind for generations. The girl next door image is shattered as we learn she's been keeping tabs on Jughead, not just to help him, but to potentially kill him if he loses control. This shift adds a whole new level of tension to their dynamic and flips Betty from love interest to lethal wildcard. Smokescreen number 3, Archie's denial. Archie Andrews, the ever-loyal best friend, becomes the unexpected emotional twist. When Jughead confesses his monstrous nature, Archie refuses to believe it at first. But when he witnesses the carnage firsthand, he's forced to confront the brutal truth. This isn't a twist in the secret reveal sense. It's emotional. Archie's world unravels, and his faith in his friends is tested in a way we've never seen. His denial isn't just naive. It nearly gets people killed. Smokescreen number 4. The Ripper is back, the Riverdale. Ripper isn't just a random killer, he's back, and he's tied directly to the werewolf lore. The Ripper serves as both a red herring and a second-tier monster, suggesting that Jughead may not be the only predator in town. The big twist is that the Ripper's crimes are what put the Cooper family back on the trail, making him the catalyst for Betty's re-entry into Jughead's life. It's not just about one monster anymore, it's about 2, and which is more dangerous. Smokescreen number 5, Jughead's self-imposed exile. In the closing stretch, Jughead makes a bold move. He goes on the run, choosing to isolate himself rather than risk hurting anyone else. It's an unexpected character twist, not driven by fear, but by guilt and responsibility. For a guy who's often seen as lazy or carefree, Jughead shows a surprising level of self-awareness and control. This final turn sets the stage for future volumes where the hunter may become the hunted, and leaves readers questioning whether Jughead can ever truly escape the beast inside him.
All right, agents, intel has been gathered, dossiers reviewed, and it's time to declassify the best of the best. Welcome to the awards segment, where we spotlight the operatives, wild cards, and game-changing moments that made this mission unforgettable. Let's hand out some top secret honors. Top Operative Award, Betty Cooper. She's the blade in the dark. Betty's transformation from lovesick teen to hardened monster hunter is compelling as hell. Every time she's on the page, you feel the weight of her mission and the heartbreak behind her cold choices. Dark Horse Award, Reggie Mantle. He's only in the book for a short stint, but oh man, does he leave an impression. Arrogant, chaotic, and somehow even scarier when he gets turned. Reggie's descent into madness and violence steals more than just the scene. It haunts it. Spyglass Sequence Award, The Forest Showdown. The final forest confrontation between Jughead, Archie, and Betty is raw, explosive, and beautifully tragic. Jughead's transformation, Betty's broken heart, Archie's desperation, it's a masterclass in horror pacing and emotional payoff. Alright, let's break it down. Jughead, The Hunger Volume 1 is one of those books that manages to feel familiar and completely out of left field at the same time. The strongest asset here is the tone. Moody, bloody, and unapologetically horror-forward. It delivers what it promises, a savage twist on a beloved Archie character. Frank Thierry's writing knows exactly what it's doing, giving us a werewolf mythos that feels fully realized, not just tacked onto a recognizable face. Pat and Tim Kennedy's art fits the vibe perfectly, rough when it needs to be, expressive in the gore, and loaded with character emotion. There's world-building potential here that extends far beyond just Jughead's furry alter ego. That said, the volume isn't without its bite marks. Pacing-wise, it's a little uneven. The first few chapters are dense with setup, and then the rest speeds through some major developments. You might find yourself wishing for more time spent with some of the side characters. Betty, especially, has a killer backstory that deserves deeper exploration. The horror tone, while bold, can feel repetitive at times, relying heavily on transformation scenes and blood splatter, rather than variety and suspense. And while the art mostly delivers, some panels look rushed or a bit too chaotic to follow cleanly. If you're the kind of reader who loved Afterlife with Archie or Sabrina the Teenage Witch, The Chilling Adventures, this is right in your lane. It's tailor-made for horror comic fans who don't mind genre mashups. Definitely not for younger readers or those expecting traditional Riverdale sweetness. This volume leans hard into the slasher side of storytelling, and if you're into werewolves, classic horror tropes, or violent character reimaginings, you're gonna feel right at home. Rereadability is solid, especially if you're hunting for foreshadowing or just want to appreciate the artwork again. But it's more of a pull it off the shelf every October kind of title than an everyday favorite. Comparatively, Jughead the Hunger sits somewhere between Afterlife with Archie and American Vampire. It's bloodier than the former, but not quite as layered as the latter. My personal takeaway? I respect what they did here. Taking a food-obsessed comic relief character and turning him into a tortured monster is a bold move, and surprisingly, it works. The emotional beats land more often than not, and the twisty legacy stuff with Betty's family adds just the right seasoning. There's definite potential for the series to grow if future volumes lean harder into the lore and slow down the story beats. Thierry and the Kennedy brothers deserve props for giving Jughead some narrative teeth, literally and figuratively. Final score? I'm giving it a 7.5 out of 10. It's bloody good fun with a dark heart and a distinct voice, even if it stumbles in parts. I'd recommend it to anyone craving a more savage take on familiar characters, especially if you're already deep into Archie horror territory. Not a must-read for everyone, but if you like your comics with claws, this one's worth the hunt. If you enjoyed this descent into the darker corners of Riverdale, hit that like button and drop a comment. What would you do if your best friend was a werewolf? Would you run or would you hunt? Subscribe to Top Secret Inc. for more deep dive comic reviews, chilling theories, and graphic novel recon missions every single week. And remember, even werewolves get hungry.